you talked about building the team, and then also you referenced passion versus obsession, and where when you're finding athletes, and their attachment to rowing, the idea of, hey, like, you don't need to be like, rowing is, it's obsession. Like, it doesn't need to be an obsession, but you want to be passionate about it, but you also want to have passion within other areas of your life. And I found that super interesting. That stuck out to me this morning. And I'm hoping that maybe this can kind of kick off our conversation as you start to, or as you continue to find your athletes and develop this culture and this program and the constant evolution of building top, NCAA boats. Let's start with that. Like, what has this process looked like in evolving the culture, the focus on the athletes, the focus on the staff? Let's, just where did that begin, and how has that evolved over the last couple decades?
Yeah. So our basketball coach here, Tony Bennett, is pretty good guy. And he's got these 5 pillars, servanthood and, humility and that kind of stuff. And I always thought that was really cool, but I didn't have any like list, just kind of live day to day based on my own personality and faith and stuff like that, is do the right thing every day, and anyway, I'd done a lot of technical and physiology talks for U.S. rowing conventions for the past 40 plus years. And, but about 15 years ago or so, they asked me to do a talk on creating a culture of success. And I said, oh, that'd be something different. Cool. I said, yes. And then I thought about it after I hung up, and I go, wait a minute, what am I going to talk about? Like what, how, And so I go, so I sent out an email, and I do quite a few talks for the Darden School of Business and some convention stuff and that kind of stuff. And it's all about this. And anyway, so I said, okay, what am I going to do? And so I sent this email out to all the parents, ex-parents, present parents, whatever, kids on the team now, alumni, friends, like 700 people I had on my list. It's like over 1,000 now, but on my like alumni friends list. And I said this, and I said, look, I got to give this talk for the convention, but it's about creating a culture of success. So I need some help, like a lot of help. Like, so please think about why we've been successful, and let me know. So literally, Kevin, within like a week, I had, out of 700 emails that I sent out, I had 300 responses. Like, that's killer responses, right? I should have asked for money, right? But anyway, and so I just kind of collated all those responses. And again, it's from present kids, alumni, parents, friends, whatever. And I kind of collated all those responses and came up with a list of the most prominent things that people talked about. And number one was caring. Number one, like, complete blow away, everything else was caring. And I think the theme is that why we've been successful was that we as coaches care about the athletes. They're not just numbers. They're not just erg scores. They're not just whatever. They're not machines. They're people. And so that's not something that I set out to do, to have on my list. It was just how we rolled. And so I think that meant a lot to me, that people recognize that. And then there's 10 total. And I can't even name them for you. I get close, but I don't have it like, etched into stone in the boathouse or anything like that. It's just like how we roll. And so caring was one of them. Passion was another, and balance. And so what I say about that is that I think the only time you can be obsessive about anything is, like, right now, I think our Olympic team is probably obsessive, and that's okay. It's an Olympic year. I don't think they could be obsessive except for just the Olympic year. In the quadrennial, if you're obsessive, you'll flame out, burn out, right? So you can only be obsessive about one thing, but you can be passionate about several. And so what I say to people is that I want you to have rowing it be one of your passions, but I want you to have the balance in your life so you can take other things that you do and be passionate about them too, whether it's your friends, your relationships, your schoolwork, your faith, your job, your volunteerism, whatever it is, right? Be passionate about those things that are most important to you. And hopefully rowing is one of those things, right? Otherwise you won't be very good at it. But you can't be obsessive about it because you'll flame out. And I think sometimes, like right now in April, May of college rowing season, kids get a little bit obsessive, coaches get a little bit obsessive, but I try to dial it back a little bit and say, you know what? It's not the most important thing in the world. Take a deep breath, and really focus on what is really important, and yes, it's an important part of your life for 2 or 3 hours a day, then let it go and go to your other passions. And I think what's really key here is that somebody that really opened my mind to this was about 20 plus years ago. A woman on my team, her mom got sick in the fall of her senior year and ended up passing away in like 8 or 9 weeks. And that woman was really close. I was really close with her. She's just an incredible kid. And her name was Amy Burns. And she's now well, I'll tell you the story, back into the story in a second. But anyway, this woman, like I said to her, I go, oh my gosh, Amy, just take the fall off. Just take the fall off, And she goes, no, I need this. I need this rowing thing. And it's a release for me. And so this kid would come, we'd practice at 6 in the morning, every morning in those days. She would go through practice Friday morning, hop in her car and drive to upstate New York, 8 hours to see her mom, and then come back on Sunday night. And she was there for Monday morning practice, all fall for 8 or 9 weeks. And I remember one Friday, she looked like she got hit by a truck. She was awful. Like I said, okay, get in the back seat, give me your keys. I'm driving you, And so I drove her up there and she visited her mom and drove back, and then it was like her mom passed away, went to the funeral, and it was tough, and anyway, that winter, like February or something, this kid is lighting it up better than she's ever done before. And I said to her, I said, Amy, my gosh, oh, here's a great story. You'll appreciate this. We're doing a 2x6K. A lot of people do that, right? So she PBs on her first 6K of a 2x6K, like her, 1x 6K PB, right? She comes up to me and goes, Kevin, oh my gosh, I just PB'd on the first one. And I go, great. She goes, great. Yeah, great. But what do I do now? And I go, do it again. PB again, and she goes, she did it, right? Like crazy. That hasn't happened very often at all, right? I've had PBs before, but not 2 in a row, right? On a 2x6K. Anyway, so I say to her, Amy, like, what the heck? You're lighting it up. What the heck? And she goes, Kevin, perspective. Before I was obsessed about this. And now, since all we went through with my mom and stuff, I realized it's not the most important thing in the world. That's released me to do what I'm capable of doing. And I still use that 20 plus years later, Kevin. It's like when kids are getting wrapped pretty tight, I go, whoa, this is not the most important thing in the world. Take a deep breath, right? Realize it's not, right? And then that actually will release you to do what you're capable of, so don't be obsessive about it. Don't be wrapped too tight about it. And sometimes I have to, like, boat comes in and they're like wrapped pretty tight. And I go, guys, you get driving me crazy. Will everybody relax? Just like chill out, have this thing CFO, chill freaking out, right? So I say CFO, and sometimes I have to do that. And every once in a while, the kids will come up to me and go, Kevin, CFO. And I go, oh, okay, got it. Yep, thank you. So I think it's kind of a mutual thing that we all got to keep perspective on board, because otherwise it becomes too much, and it's not that important, it is important. For sure it is, but there's many things in life that are more important. And I think that really, really is a big deal.